kind of interested in this one. What were the Crash Dummy's last words? Ouch or woohoo. Depends on if he likes it or not. I bet he does. We are converting percents to fractions, to decimals, and all in between. The first three sets, we will have percents that we're converting to fractions in lowest terms. Remember, percent means per 100. Let's look at number 1. When you think of it as 40 per 100, then it's really easy to put it in fractions. 40 per 100. Now that you've got that, it's time to reduce. The first thing I'll do is reduce by 10. Get rid of those zeros, which gives me 4/10. Now I can reduce by 2/5. So A is U. C, 2/100ths. 2%, 2 per 100, 2/100ths. Reduce that by 2, 1/50th. C is 1/50th, which is up here, P. Number 2, they're all the same. Just think per 100, percent per 100. And then over to number 3, it is still the same. But instead of having all 1 and 2 digit numbers, you've got some 3-digit numbers. 150% would be 150 per 100. Obviously, that's more than 1. I will first reduce by 10, which gives me 15/10. I'll reduce that by 5, which gives me 3/2. And I see they didn't convert theirs, so 3/2 is B. And then 225 per 100 is that. I will reduce this by 25. 25 is like a quarter. It goes into every 100 4 times. So it goes into 200 8 times, and another 25 9 times. It goes into 100 4 times. That would be N. Got you close to the answers on there. Let's look now at number 4. This section we're writing each fraction as a percent. We're going backwards. 19/100ths is 19%, obviously. That one was easy. Now, the others aren't quite as easy because they don't have 100 in the denominator. There are 2 things that you can do. You can use your calculator and divide it out, or you can convert it to hundredths. In this section, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and convert these all to hundredths. So 7/20ths is how many hundredths? 20 times 5 is 100. So the times 5 is your rule. 7 times 5 is 35. So the percent is 35%. And C, 33/50ths. Well, I've got to convert it to hundredths because percent is per 100. 50 times 2 is 100, so times 2 is my rule. 33 times 2 is 66. So 66 hundredths, or 66%. And down here, 24/25ths. Remember, 4 quarters and $1, so 25 times 4. My rule is times 4. 24 times 4 is 96. 96 hundredths is 96%. See how easy that is? So let's see, we got 19, 35, 66, 96. So the answer for 4 is B. We can go on up here to 4 and write B. I got you the answer for that one. Let's look at 5. Another alternative, if you want to instead use a calculator, you can divide it out. 3 divided by 5. That will put it in decimal form. 0.6. And 5 divided by 4 1.25. Now these are in decimal form, not percent. So the next thing I've got to do is change it to percent. When you go from decimal to percent, because it's per 100, you multiply it by 100, which means you move the decimal 2 places. So 1, 2. So this becomes 60%. Take that decimal, you move it 2 places, and you get 125%. So we get rid of D, and we get rid of L. Number 6, I'm going to do one of each. We'll divide this one out. 75 divided by 300 gives us 0.25. And then we'll multiply this one out. Why not? Times 2 goes into 150 times. Times 50 times 50. 5 times 50 is 250. So we move the decimal to the right 2 places, and we get 25%. We've got 250 100ths, which is very simply 250%. So we get rid of this one and this one. The next row, we are changing decimals into percents. And look what I did. You move the decimal 2 places to the right. Because you're multiplying by 100 per 100, you multiply by 100. So that means you move the decimal to the right 2 places. We'll do parts of 7 and 9 together. Number 7, remember 2 places to the right, which gives us 9%. We move this 2 places to the right, goes right there, which gives us 4.4%. And 9/10, 2 places to the right, gives us 90%. See how that works? We've got 9%, 90%, and 4.4%. 8 is more of the same. 9 is also more of the same, but let's do it anyway. Remember, we moved the decimal 2 places to the right because we are moving to percent. 1, 2 becomes 3.8%. We move this 2 places, 1, 2 gives us 380%, just like that. So we eliminate N and D. The last section, sets 10 through 12, you are converting percents to decimal form. And since we are dividing by 100, we're going to move the decimal to the left 2 places. And it makes sense too. 40% per 100. Well, how do you write that in decimal form? 40 hundredths. We could put a 0 on the end, but it doesn't have any value, so we'll leave it like that. We'll move the decimal to the left 2 places, 1, 2, which means we end up with a 0.66. And I'm going to check. It started right here between the 6's, 1, 2. So I know I got it right. 4%, 4 hundredths, 4 per 100. So it's going to be 4 hundredths. I did that without thinking about the decimal because I know 4% per 100, 4 hundredths. I know that's the same, but I'm still going to go back and check. The decimal started here, 1, 2, so I got it right. Let me cross out my answers. And 4/10. So you've got to fix between those two. Number 11. Again, we move the decimal to the left 2 places. 1, 2. We have 0.375. And down here, the decimals, if you don't have a decimal, you know it's on the far right. We move it to the left 2 places, 1, 2. That gives us 3.75. I can eliminate these 2. 0.75, 0.375. And finally, number 12, 8.5%. I'm going to change this percent with the fraction to a percent with a decimal. So it would be 8.5%. Now to turn that into a decimal, just strictly a decimal, I'll move that to the left 2 places. So then it's 0.085. And let's see, 1, 2, that's right. 0.4%, I'll move it to the left 2 places. I get 2 zeros, and just to check, 1, 2, 0.004, so that's 4 thousandths, and 85 thousandths. Let me get rid of these. And there you have it. You can do the rest on your own.